Halifax? Well, at the moment, you'd have to say it's going to be the Barrow Raiders, because they're ahead by 15 points to 0 against this Halifax side. So this is first versus second in this qualifying semi-final, and Dave Clark's side have taken their chances. They've had other opportunities as well, which they've squandered. So they'll be pretty satisfied with their first half, but Halifax must know that there is better to come from them. We've seen it this season. We need to see it, or Halifax supporters will hope to see it in this second half if they are to overturn this 15-0 deficit. It's Barrow Raiders in possession from the restart.
There's the knock-on. He's not very happy with that break check. This is where Halifax need to ask some question. Tangart there with the big mighty shot.
And he's ripped that, Tez, I'm afraid. Tangart got good impact and then went to grab the ball. And Andy Braycheck, I don't like to see players answering the referee back, but he did have a case.
But it's an opportunity for Halifax right from the kick-off at the start of this second half to put some pressure on this Barrow Raiders side, and you get the feeling that just one try would galvanise this Halifax side. And now they're just about 10 metres out as Larder plays the ball. Black, short pass for Dominic Maloney, who came motoring onto that. 3 tackles gone. The Barrow Raiders defence already being examined as Black takes the pass, finds Penkovic, and Penkovic tries to step back inside. Barrow Raiders saw that coming. 4 tackles gone. Black. Here is Paul Smith across the field. Smith through a gap, and stretching out is he. He's just short of the try line. Referee tells him to play the ball. The Halifax supporters behind those posts thought he was over, and Ballard will kick the ball clear. Or has Sean Penkovic got a hand to it just before it crossed the whitewash?
Well, there's certainly more intent in what Halifax are delivering here. Thierry Alibert wants to know whether this ball gets grounded. I think he's grounded by Penkovic, but I think his foot is in touch. Look at the onside, offside. Everybody's onside for Halifax. A nice option.
Well, Ballard had an air shot, really.
Bad swing there.
And Penkovic, has he got to it? Too late. Robert Hicks is the video ref. He's touched the whitewash, surely, before he's touched the ball.
Yeah, that's no try, that. But they're asking questions, Halifax. Here's the decision.
Okay. Thierry Alibert gets the verdict from Robert Hicks, no try, but it's worth a shout from Sean Penkovic. The ball already dead, says the referee. It had already hit the whitewash.
But the reaction now, what they need to do is defend. They need to get off the line really quick. They were doing that in the first half. Here's Penkovic's attempt, and you can see that's the correct decision by the video referee. But it's okay getting off the line really quick, trying to dominate in defence, but you've got to get back as quick. You've got to retreat to the referee and come forward again.
A warning for Barrow Raiders, that was. They can't afford to give this Halifax side an opportunity, but then Halifax, as they did in the first half, conceding the penalty. Haley it was, I think, who was penalised.
James Haley just grasping in a desperation tackle, tries to pull. I think it's Andy Ellis back towards him, and that's illegal.
Maloney on all fours, just in back play there, just having a bit of treatment.
He's an important player for Halifax, Maloney. They'll want him back up and back fit. Physio gives the thumbs up.
Maloney jogging back to join the defensive line. And Barrow Raiders putting that defensive line under a bit of pressure here. Oh, McDermott juggling with that, then runs into a pretty high shot from Larder. Just exchanges pleasantries with him there for a moment. Right in front of those posts, about 20 metres out now. Coyle. Luisi, always a threat. 3 tackles gone. Bauer. Coyle. Short ball, finds Halliwell, great pass, Harrison couldn't take it, just went behind him, and Warrency trying to get away. Good ankle tap from Andy Ellis, and Ellis is everywhere.
An absolutely superb one-handed offload from Danny Halliwell. Great movement from right to left. And Barrow again, they can play and they're not afraid to throw that pass. Watch this, round in between two players, and Liam Harrison just can't regather it. Probably a bit too much weight on the pass, but great skill.
So probably the third opportunity that Barrow Raiders have blown in this match. Might that come back to haunt them? Halifax on the halfway line. Penkovic trying to find the gap. He has done, but he's looking for Patterson to come back in field. Patterson did, but too late. And Penkovic, all that good work is undone, and he just wonders when it's going to go right for his side.
Good defensive work by Zeb Luis here. You can see that Penkovic is asking his teammates to come back inside. But this is what Halifax need to do. They need to start asking questions, taking that ball to the line. Matt Calland will be disappointed again, but again, his team are starting to ask questions. Ben Black needs to get the ball in hand, take it to the defensive line and target those big fellas in the middle of the park.
But every question that Halifax ask, Barrow have the answer. It's commitment, and the goal line defence, you can look at the big fat zero and say they've worked hard to work for that.
Let's go down to the sidelines, get some half-time news from Rod Studd.
Well, you know, Bill, if you'd strolled into the ground at half-time not knowing the score, you could have worked it out straight away from looking at the two coaches. Dave Clark from Barrow, very relaxed. In fact, left the changing room with 5 minutes to the half-time break, still remaining to have a chat with one or two of the spectators. Very cool about things, knowing that if sides carries on doing what they're doing, they'll go through to the grand final. Matt Callan, on the other hand, had made it pretty clear his team had better improve in the second half, and I think we've seen that in the first 5 minutes from Halifax. Callan's face looked like thunder when he left the changing room. Just a quick bit of injury news. Stephen Bannister, who we saw with that nasty clash of heads in the first half, 5 stitches in that cut just around his ear, but reckons he'll be okay to come back out and play if they need him.
Halifax in possession. Lee Patterson. Tackled by Paul Noon. Patterson plays the ball. Here is Saeed Tamgart, French international, who's been such a big hit with the Halifax supporters.
Rod Studd's answered my question then. He's obviously not being paid by the state, Chelsea, to put more than 5 in.
Gleeson plays the ball. Bezic, little chip over the top. And Broadbent picks it up, turns to find there's 4 Halifax players closing him down. He just manages to make the field of play. Maloney has gone off, replaced by David Wrench, so maybe a consequence of that bang that Dominic Maloney picked up. But now Barrow Raiders with some work to do to get out of their own zone.
And better shots again from Halifax. This is where you want to defend when you're defending down in the opposition's 20. They're trapped in the corner. Liam Harrison does ever so well.
But Harrison's heading for the sidelines. He's done well to keep him the field of play. They don't call him the bull for nothing. He is a strong, tough-to-tackle centre, Liam Harrison. Coyle, that's a good step from Coyle. Oh, he's got support from... Great support it was as well from Dave Allen. And Rooney takes the next pass. Allen did well to hold on to that. It's the 5th tackle on the halfway line. Rooney slowly to his feet. Coyle, who engineered that break, puts the kick in. Oh, Patterson stretching for it. Makes the catch.
But Barrow aren't afraid to throw that pass. They're getting one-handed offloads away. Lovely kick here from Coyle again, squeezing that pressure. But Barrow aren't afraid to throw that pass, put the body through the line and offer it to a teammate, because they know that there's somebody up in that next hole.
Barrow Raiders leading by 15 points to 0, and Halifax on the attack now, and Black making the run, and Royston in support, and Royston will go under the post in front of those Frank supporters, and that's what they needed. And Ben Black, who's been quite a subdued presence in this Halifax side tonight, carving out the opening for Shad Royston to finish, getting his 27th try of the season. It's turning out to be worth the journey, or is it, for these Halifax supporters? They've got some hope, because it's right under the post, this try.
Fullbacks in modern-day rugby league earn their money by backing up everything and everybody. It's a loose offload, but Halifax's reaction in the second half is much better to the reactions in the first. Lovely pass inside. Ben Black takes the right option. Shad Royston gets that ball over the line and gets rid of that big fat zero.
And Lee Patterson will narrow the gap with this conversion, bangs it over the roof of the stand, out into the back streets of Barrow. And Barrow 15, Halifax 6, and the Barrow Raiders might not be feeling so comfortable now.
Halifax can score tries from wherever. Bezic gets a real good offload away. Gleeson was aware of it. This is what you don't want. You don't want Ben Black running at you with the ball in hand, and he just draws the fullback, gives it to Shad Royston, and gets Halifax back into the game.
And that's given those Halifax supporters something to cheer about. Ben Black, whose fitness has been the subject of one or two queries in the build-up to this game, because he did have this bicep injury, had to have specialist treatment in Manchester, had a scan as well in the last few weeks, but insisting in the build-up to this that he was fully fit. Well, he was certainly on the ball then. Now then, can Halifax build on that? Still trailing 15-6. And that's looking a lot healthier from their point of view. Gleeson now. 4 tackles gone. It's 25 years almost to the day since Barrow's last win over Halifax. You have to go back to 1984, September the 2nd, in the old First Division, when Barrow won by 30 points to 20. That's how rare a Barrow win over Halifax is. They've beaten them 3 times this season, Halifax, although the last couple of times were by only a few points. And this could be a close finish as well. The ball went backwards, play on, says the referee. Ellis scooped it up. Did just that for his side, Andy Ellis. Oh, Ellis is signalling to the sidelines, he's in trouble, and that is bad news if Andy Ellis has picked up a problem. And Ellis, you can just probably see him in the corner of the shot there for a moment. He's furiously waving at the bench. There's some problem with the hooker. They keep it alive. Broadbent.
He's trying to get off Andy Ellis, but bravely, he's got to stay on. He's in some trouble, but he's still got a job and a role to play.
Okay. Rooney hoists the kick. That ball's almost dropped kindly for Nixon, but it was knocked on. And it'll be the turnover.
Not a bad option from Barrow. And Andy Ellis still trying to get off the pitch. We've said it a couple of times. There's a saying in rugby league, unless you broke your leg and you can't get back up, take your place in the line, even if you're just an obstacle. And Andy Ellis limping away, just trying to get in the way of some of those Halifax players.
And a bit of a conference going on the sidelines as to who should replace him. It looks as though Ned Katic will come on if Ellis does indeed leave the field. In fact, it's Rob Roberts who's now emerging on the sidelines. On the halfway line, Halifax on the last tackle. Paul Smith from a quick play the ball. Smith keeps it alive. Bezic going backwards. There's a Barrow Raiders player down in the middle of the field, and it is Andy Ellis, I think.
That looks a bad injury there. He's holding his face.
Ellis in all sorts of problem.
Holding his face. I hope that's not a cheekbone or a jaw injury.
Barrow Raiders, meanwhile, back in possession as Ellis does eventually leave the field, and Rob Roberts comes on in his place.
James Coyle will go into acting half-back. Jamie Rooney just got that position at the minute.
So Barrow Raiders losing their influential hooker, Andy Ellis. That's the 5th tackle. Rob Roberts on the field, Ned Katic on as well.
He's outside, stay down!
And Rooney gets that ball down the field. Let's get out of here, he says. Let's get down the other end of the field and stop messing around.
Wait!
There is Andy Ellis. Obviously got a bang on the head at some point, and Bezic went for as Barrow Raiders did in the first half, Bezic went looking for a touch to give them possession up the field. It went horribly wrong, but he was actually holding his head in his hands on his own 20-metre line after he'd done that.
A real poor kick. It looked really laboured and sloppy. Now they've got to defend. Barrow on the front foot. Halifax needed to keep hold of that possession.
Coyle looking for some movement. There was no movement anywhere. He turned around and there was just a bunch of statues behind him. McDermott now. Here is Braychek. Great footwork from Braychek. Bannister wearing the headband and no number makes the tackle, but can't keep a hold of him, and Braychek makes good progress. The Raiders supporters like that. Coyle, well, that was a kick that ricocheted, and Gary Broadbent will pick it up. He'll play Ducks and Drakes with Shad Royston, I think it was. It was Haley, in fact, and the referees wiped the tackle count clean. There was a boot in there. Well, it's just got very sloppy all of a sudden. Fatigue setting in, maybe.
That ball was played at by the Halifax defender. He knew that if he didn't stick the foot out there, Barrow may well have scored another try.
Here is McDermott. McDermott pointing the way.
He's turned into a ball handler, Brett McDermott. One run from dummy half. He wants to thread somebody through a gap, but great leg drive from Andy Braychek.
Roberts can cause damage with his offloading, so they make sure that ball's clamped, and he can't do that. It was Bezic who got his arms round him. But Rooney now. Rooney pops the pass up for Katic. Oh, and Katic on for Rooney, and Rooney couldn't take it. And there was a knock-on. Well, there was a succession of knock-ons there, and the referee saying we'll play the first, and it was by Barrow. Halifax head and feet at the scrum.
That was the correct decision. That come off Liam Harrison. Katic takes the ball. Again, he's looking for support. Offloads the ball to Rooney, who loses it. You can see, here it goes. Halley goes for the ball. That goes forward off Harrison there. He tries to pick at him with his right arm, knocks it forward. That's why Halifax have got the scrum. But again, that second phase rugby from this Barrow side.
But it's another opportunity gone begging for the Barrow Raiders. It's the second good opportunity they've had in the second half. And another blood bin. There is some blood being spilt for the cause of both sides tonight. We've seen two Halifax players off, blooded. Both of them unbowed. Bannister back on, and Smith and Brett McDermott will soon be patched up and back into the fray as well.
See, he just pushed the substitution out the way. He's got to go off to the sideline. He said, I'm all right. Let me just get it taped up and I can get back on. And Jamie Rooney wanting them to hurry up. Whatever they're doing, they want it done now.
Which is why they want to get Chris Young on, in fact, and Brett McDermott going down to the dressing room by the look of things. They couldn't afford to take a chance. As Bannister, with that cut on his head, heavily strapped, plays the ball. Then Gleeson, 15 points to 6 in favour of the Barrow Raiders. Bannister, Goddard now. Patterson steps back in field.
It's very flat from Halifax at this point.
Penkovic runs into some solid defending from Braychek and Roberts. 3 Welsh internationals going at it there, as Black hoists the kick. Broadbent solid as a rock underneath that one, and then tries to run it back at one of the biggest guys on the field, Frank Watine.
Again, well taken by Gary Broadbent at the back there. He's safe as houses under them high balls.
But this is the widest guy on the field, isn't he, Frank?
Frank, well, he's a brave man, Gary Broadbent, if he gets the ball and he picks Big Frank out.
That's a good run from Young. Ballard was screaming for the pass.
And he was looking to get that ball away from the little flick pass out the back.
Braychek gets the pass away. There was a cry of hold it from Coyle, but he got the pass and Ballard took it from him. Here is Dave Allen now. Allen again offloads, went backwards, says the referee. Coyle was lucky to get away with that. Young, Katic now, Rooney, they've got men out wide. Harrison is one of them. Harrison on the charge. Good defence from Halifax so far, but Nixon picks it up. Nixon comes back in field now, and Nixon putting his foot to the gas.
That's how you come onto the ball on the outside, like Liam Harrison did just then.
Rooney, dummy to kick. Harrison on the last, and still going. Liam Harrison gets the pass to Katic. Ned Katic will get all wrapped up. That'll be the turnover.
He was looking for one of his Barrow teammates to push up and just hit a hole. He was running across field, slowed up the tempo of his run. Talk about tempo of the run, Halifax really do need to lift now.
Well, they're lifting now. on that right-hand side, and Warrancy is infield in support. There was a shove there. I'm sure there was a shove as Warrancy was going for the pass.
Penalty there off Katic. He saw Warranty was coming up on the inside then. He knew that if he got the ball, that would have been try time.
Great transition from Halifax though. Haley slowing his run up, and it just hits the Barrow player. And it's very impressive for me, even though this is an obstruction, it's very impressive for me, the blue shirts in the screen. 3 or 4 blue shirts all rushing back to rescue the situation.
Frank Watine now, Ned Katic coming up with the penalty as he grabbed a hold of Rob Warrancy's collar, which could prove costly. Although Gleeson loses his footing. Plays the ball about 8 metres out. Here is Frank Watine. Frank Watine is driven back in the tackle. Good defence. Harrison and Katic it was. Gleeson finds Black. Black, short pass for Bannister. 4 tackles gone in this set of 6 for Halifax. Quick play the ball. Penkovic has lost it, and it's picked up by Young.
And again, Penkovic, when you've got to get out, you've got to make sure you have full control of that ball. And the Barrow defender just come up trumps for his teammates. You can see he gets out, he looks to ask questions, and it's Andy Brejcha who puts pressure on him. But again, they get down there, they blow the chances. Barrow get the ball. And again, they're really turning up for each other on defence. Win the defence when they defend the try line. Is this a penalty? No, it's not. Yes, it is.
Eventually. Well, Thierry Alibert gave Frank Watine plenty of time to extricate himself from that tangle with Rob Roberts, and Roberts there, you can see.
Let me up, sir.
Maybe Frank was just a bit tired. Fancied a lie down and thought, Rob Roberts seems like a nice soft place.
Quicker, come on, go.
So the penalty allows Barrow Raiders to make progress into this Halifax half. Watine with the tackle, assisting Bob Bezic there as Brejcha plays the ball. Here is Rob Roberts now. 2 tackles gone. Coyle takes them on himself, but Larder, so often one of the top tacklers for this Halifax side, makes the tackle there along with Paul Smith. Chris Young. Luisi, offload for Young. Young taking him on himself, and Young for the try line, but he's held up just short. Good defence from Halifax just for a moment there. Chris Young thought it was opening up for him. Couldn't get over. Luisi finds Rooney. And Haley very quick up on Rooney there. That was good work, and Rooney's got an injury in the process. Could be just cramp from Jamie Rooney, it is.
Yeah, it looks like cramp.
Still 19 minutes to go.
James Haley did incredibly well to get up off his line and envelop Jamie Rooney as soon as he got that ball.
Referee Thierry Alibert telling Rob Roberts to take the ball and play it, but Rob Roberts not having anything to do with it.
That's a great spot from Haley.
Rooney is back on his feet. Roberts plays the ball on the last as Coyle, a little crossfield kick. Great footwork from Broadbent. Almost came off, and he was there to make the tackle on his opposite number, Shad Royston.
But great awareness when Gary Broadbent realised he couldn't get to the...
Another collision there.
Clash.
I think Liam Harrison and Broadbent have banged into each other. Well, thankfully you can just see at the top of the screen there, Broadbent he's not sure whether it's in Whitehaven or Barrow or Workington at the moment.
It's like Bambi.
And there you go, Penkovic forward pass to Bannister. Barrow have got some injuries. Jamie Rooney's a bit sore. Broadbent's a bit sore, but Penkovic, Bezic is who gets out. The ball goes forward, he runs behind that player. Bannister under all kinds of pressure. You can see there's the collision. Oof!
Well, Gary Broadbent is on his own halfway line, just collecting his thoughts, trying to unscramble those marbles.
He's tough, Gary Broadbent. And just got up, had a bit of a wobble, looked like Tez on a Saturday night. Get back in the defensive line.
Bannister, meanwhile, is leaving the field as play continues, with blood again pouring from that head wound. As Barrow Raiders have possession. The ball kept alive by Andreas Bauer. And then it's Luisi who'll play the ball. These two sides just starting to look very weary indeed. And still with 18 minutes on the clock. Coyle. Here is Rooney. That cramp seems to have gone. Katic! Ned Katic for the try line. He's got it down. Ned Katic eventually takes one of the chances that have been coming the Barrow Raiders' way in this second half. And he gets his 10th try of the season, coming charging onto that pass from Jamie Rooney. And the two former Wakefield colleagues celebrate together. A try that could just take the steam out of this Halifax comeback.
You cannot afford to give Barrow the possession. Bob Bezic with the forward pass to Bannister. Bannister fails to catch it anyway. And from that position, a nice drop-off play. And Katic runs strong. He's over the line, gets the ball down. And even with minutes left on the board, this is Barrow's game. They've defended so strong all night. It's the defence that has won them this game.
And Ned Katic will be desperate to get to this grand final because, of course, he missed out on the Northern Rail Cup defeat through suspension. Was serving a two-match ban at the time. And that try could have helped his side through to the Cooperative Championship grand final. And Rooney will try and just put a bit more daylight between his Barrow Raiders side and Halifax with this conversion. Rooney's landed it. They're ahead by 21 points to 6 now are the Barrow Raiders. Maybe Halifax have got to start thinking about their second chance. Des Johnston, the Raiders chairman, who's already lifted the league leaders trophy this evening, thinking that all this hard work and not inconsiderable investment that he has made with this club might yield a grand final place now. But Barrow Raiders have coughed up possession from the restart. There is still time yet for Halifax to turn this round.
And if there's any team in this competition that can score points, it's Halifax. They've got real threats all over the park, whether it be Gleeson, whether it be Bezic, whether it be Ben Black. It's the speed that they really need to improve on. You can see the big Frank going forward, no one's in support.
Larder. Well, a quick response would give Halifax some hope here. If they can get points on the scoreboard soon, there's still plenty of time then for them to make life uncomfortable for the Barrow Raiders. And they're in with a chance now. They are in with a chance now, and Paul Smith has put the ball down with the line. I wouldn't say the line was begging, but it was calling out to him. It was saying, Paul, I'm here.
But again, defence from this Barrow side. They come from nowhere. He thinks that he's in, and it's James Coyle who comes in, dislodges that ball. And that's the never say die attitude. You can see him coming across. Smith was looking at that try line. He was reading it in the paper. But big defence by Barrow.
Wait, out.
So another let-off for this Barrow Raiders side. They haven't been that secure on their own try line in this second half. They've had to survive one or two scares as well. The time now running out for this Halifax side.
Well done.
They've known heartache in the qualifiers. Have missed out on 2 National League Grand Finals previously in 2005 and 2007 by losing at the qualifying stage. Well, they haven't missed out yet. They'll get a second chance if they are to lose tonight. But here goes Nixon. Nixon will take on Royston. He's gone round Royston, but the cavalry has arrived. Good covering work.
Outstanding pace from Nixon. Katic with an offload. Good position for Barrow.
Great position for Barrow, for Andreas Bauer. And for Braychek. And that will send Barrow Raiders into the grand final. Halifax players dejected on their own try line. The coach calm and composed for Barrow, Dave Clark. And Andy Braychek finishing off that move, which the slicing run from James Nixon had really helped to create.
It's the ability of Barrow to offload the ball and make it available and then turn that into a threat. Look at this acceleration from Nixon. Tries to round the fullback, and Halifax try in vain to stop what is absolutely inevitable. Passes, offloads, push through, beautiful stuff. And Andy Braychek with a nice right foot step jams that ball down, taking Barrow through to the final. Very sure about that.
Third try of the season for Andy Braychek, and it was his signing really that was the catalyst for all this change at the Barrow Raiders, and a signal of the intention that they were going to really make a challenge, having been promoted to the Championship, and what a challenge it has turned out to be. Rooney from bang in front of the posts lands another 2 points, and now they are ahead by 27 points to 6. And that first half drop goal does look a little bit of a unnecessary anxiety attack.
If Halifax look back at this game, they will be absolutely devastated in the way that they defended. Andy Braychek and his other forwards have really offloaded that ball. They've asked a lot of questions in and around the ruck. Matt Callum will not be happy. The initial contact has not been good enough from Halifax tonight.
Well, they've got another opportunity. They will get another opportunity.
Okay.
Against the winners of the Widnes-Featherstone game to come. Oh, a high shot as Luisi, I think it was, took the restart. Haley came in high.
And that's it, things start going against you. You've got to try and get back into that game. Zeb Luisi catches that ball. Haley just rides that tackle over the shoulder, connects with Zeb Luisi's chin. And again, it's giving field position to this Barrow side, who, if you look at the game, they've been absolutely outstanding from start to 67 minutes, even 68.
Almost
Here's
69.
Rob Roberts,
Come on! Fight!
the Championship Playoffs final eliminator, is coming up next Thursday on Sky Sports, 7:30, Sky Sports 2. And you'd have to say Halifax against either Widnes or Featherstone.
I think you'd have to say that because they're the only teams that are playing tomorrow, Bill.
But you'd have to say that Halifax are now going to be in that. Looks increasingly likely now. And they get the penalty, and the frustration really coming to the surface for this Halifax side. They've won the last 2 games, but really, after their big win in Toulouse back in June, they went off the boil. They lost the next 5. Okay, they picked it up with those season-ending wins, regular season-ending wins against Lee and Toulouse, but they just haven't rediscovered the form that made them such a dangerous proposition early in the season, when it looked as though they would romp away with the Cooperative Championship.
Well, they had 5 defeats on their own. I think that's where they lost confidence. And there you go, even Dave Clark having a bit of a snigger to himself. He knows that they're in the final. But again, Jamie Rooney willing to knock these 2 points down. The Halifax fans will get another chance next week.
Well, Dave Clark surely will be glad all over now that he's got a win on Sky, because I think this will be his first win in televised games on Sky Sports. Although he did have charge of the Toulouse game. As Rooney lines this one up and bags another 2 points. And probably tells his teammates to look out for the short kick-off. 29 points to 6 now.
Well, they're already word of it. They pulled Granny Broadbent up from full-back. He's standing on the 40-metre line. They know that it's going to go short.
Wouldn't you put a taller teammate there, Tez? Rob Roberts, possibly? How far can Gary Broadbent jump up in the air?
Okay.
Well, Katic is there. So too is Luisi. To take that ball very comfortably in the end. Not a great challenge from this Halifax side. Probably now already thinking about next Thursday in that qualifying semi-final, that final eliminator rather.
Free! Move! Hold, go.
Here's Coyle. Dave Allen.
So! Move! Saeed!
Still 9 minutes on the clock.
Right, go.
And Luisi.
Ball.
Strong pass.
Side! Move! Okay.
Rooney just jabs that kick into the corner. Strange tactic, they had Halifax on the ropes.
Just knocking that clock off now and again, stuck it into the corner. Halifax have got to bring it out. Barrow can really compress the defence and try and force that error.
I'm with you, Bill. I thought Halifax and the defensive line was retreating enough to let Jamie Rooney have a crack at that and see what he could come up with, but choosing to go with the percentages, get the ball out, keep the clock ticking over, and let's make them come away from their own line.
Well, Penkovic has worked hard to get his side into the game here tonight. The captain leading from the front. He's suffering from a spot of cramp in back play there. Here's Mark Roberts. Roberts leaving Coyle flat on his back with that charge. Ben Black, Saeed Tamgart. Tamgart's offload, but nobody there apart from Ned Katic. That about sums up the night for Halifax, really. Barrow Raiders have just been sharper about everything. And Katic, instead of a Halifax teammate, was the first to react there.
It's been their enthusiasm, whether they've had the ball or whether they haven't. Ned Katic was just being in the right place at the right time and doing what he should do, and he comes up with a reward.
Broadbent, almost wriggling his way through the defence. 3 tackles gone. There could be more pain for Halifax yet from this Barrow Raiders side. Luisi's pass for Chris Young. Luisi takes it elegantly, one-handed. Pass out wide from Roberts, finds Hallowell. Hallowell comes back across the field then. They're playing with them, they're toying with them now, the Barrow Raiders. 4 tackles gone as Hallowell plays the ball. Rooney, short pass back on the inside, finds Luisi. Luisi, nice pass, finds Rooney. Rooney taking him on himself, reverses out of the tackle, still going. Has got to the line, has he? He's just short.
Just dropped the ball, just dipped down. His body angle was good, Rooney. Zeb Luisi's got a couple of cracking offloads away tonight. Just ducks down. And who is it? Smith?
It's Paul Smith who just intervenes yet to stop Rooney stretching out there for another Barrow Raiders try.
Paul Smith has fluffed one and saved one. Is that even Stevens, do you think? Will his coach forgive him, Tez?
Royston, he's lost the ball. Barrow Raiders have it back. There's a penalty, offside, I think, in fact. Unfortunate for Barrow.
Unfortunate for Barrow, but that's what Halifax needed. Here you can see the break from the back. They're offside. That's what the penalty's for. He got the call from his touch judge.
Tamgart. Well, this game might have gone, but surely Halifax need to end the game with some sort of confidence, because they can't go into next week and that final eliminator feeling sorry for themselves.
And that's what it's all about. You've got to pick up your confidence. You've still got to try things. The game might be gone, but there's still another 80 minutes of football in this Halifax side for next week.
Paul Smith, Maloney has gone without that, and again Katic picks it up, and Ned Katic to the charge. Lawrence is coming back at him. Ned Katic doesn't have the legs, I think, but Nixon does. Nixon will get the try, his second of the night. Hats off to Ned Katic, and his teammates salute him, James Nixon included. He goes to 31 for the season. But it was Ned Katic who was in the starting lineup tonight because of the injury to Martin Osler, and has really played his part. And that try just rubbing salt into the Halifax wounds.
Ned Katic's the big Australian forward. A couple of times this year we've watched him and we've been critical of what he's done. Just look at this. A bit of open field in front of him. He pins his ears back, looking for support all the time. And James Nixon, as he has done all season, picks up those points. but he'll put it down to their big Aussie forward, who picked up the ball, ran as hard as he could, and laid it on a plate.
Nixon's already got 4 hat-tricks this season. He might fancy, even in the last few minutes left here tonight with this Halifax side looking very weary and dispirited, he might fancy his chances of getting another one. As Rooney lines up this conversion attempt, which he succeeds with, the Raiders supporters down below us saluting their team. Well, if you're going to go through to a grand final, this is the way to do it. In emphatic style from Dave Clark's side.
You need to be on top of your form when you're playing in a final. Barrow have already been to one this year. They've lost in the final to Widnes in that Northern Rail Cup. But on this form, they look so good. The forwards have been dominant. The second phase has been unbelievable. And Jamie Rooney has just bossed the show.
Well, Rooney has kicked 7 from 7 as well. And again, Luisi climbs to claim that ball. And they're just running the show now. They are finishing this game in real style, the Barrow Raiders.
And again, that's a sign of confidence. When you jump in the early night, you're willing the ball to come to you. Rob Roberts has had a real big game. Again, knocking the Halifax players off, looking to offload that ball. It takes 4 defenders to bring the big man down.
And they're having fun, Barrow, now. You can see smiles on faces. We saw them on the sideline, but look at the players now. They're enjoying themselves. They've made that ball available, and it's through strong running from the forwards.
You just put the muckers on them.
Bauer it was who couldn't take the pass from Dave Allen.
I think his coach will forgive him. He just didn't know whether to go inside or outside the Halifax player. And Andreas Bauer with an error for tonight, but look at that. That's what it means to this club. And Dave Clark has put his heart and soul into this team. And everybody appreciates that.
Wait. Edwin, come on.
Clark and Paul Noon celebrating. Well, they've been to the Northern Rail Cup final where they were beaten by Widnes. They put up a gallant fight there, but I wonder if that experience will serve them well when they go to the grand final. Halifax, can they finish with something to show for their efforts? They've had glimpses, we've seen glimpses of Halifax this evening, especially with the try. There's Des Johnston.
I'm not sure Halifax deserve anything. I think that Barrow have outplayed them in defence and attack.
Second!
They haven't showed any composure. Matt Callan will be so disappointed with this performance, but he'll know that some improvements in the attitude of the players, and they can soon fix it up.
Well, you get everything with Ned Katic. He is a real heart-in-the-sleeve player. He's conceded the penalty, does some good things, concedes the penalty, and Shad Royston gets his second try of the night on the back of it.
Unfortunate for Ned Katic that. He's been outstanding in attack and defence, but Halifax can score tries, with no doubt about that. And the clever scheming from Ben Black. It's always going to be dangerous near the line. It's Penkovic who looks one way and passes the other. Just watch what he does. He fixes up that defender, looks at him square in the eyes to commit him, and as soon as that Barrow defender comes towards him, he pops it over his shoulder.
Patterson lands the extras, and 35-12 the scoreline now in favour of the Barrow Raiders. So Shad Royston something to smile about with 2 tries, but he's about the only member of the Halifax camp with anything remotely cheering to think about. And even 2 tries won't be much consolation for Shad Royston. Takes him to 29 for the season.
He'll be absolutely fuming, Matt Calland. Absolutely fuming. He knows that this Halifax side are better than what they've shown tonight. With plenty of work for those players in the week. No doubt the tackling shields will be out.
Well, it's going to be a big night at the show next Thursday, because that is where the action will be for the final eliminator, because the Barrow Raiders have already booked their place in the Cooperative Championship Grand Final. The side that finished top of the tree in the championship justifies their status with an emphatic victory over the team that finished second in the table, Halifax. 35 points to 12, the final scoreline. James Nixon getting a couple of tries. His finishing proving one of the differences between these two teams. But you have to say that throughout the 80 minutes virtually, it was just a more revved up Barrow side, a more switched on and committed Barrow side.
Their attitude to defence was outstanding. Roberts, McDermott, Allen, Katic, Luisi and Braychek and Young, when they came on, just took the Halifax forwards on. And they were smart in what they did. They used late footwork, and when they could get the ball away in a controlled situation, players like Ned Katic absolutely thrived on it.
And talking of Ned, all-round performance from him, warts and all it was. He's that sort of guy. He's got the Man of the Match award. He's with Rod.
Ned, well done. There's a bottle of champagne for the man of the match. You've had a lot of time to think about this game. 2 weeks to build up to it after losing your previous 2 games. Got it right on the night, though, didn't you?
Yeah, correct. We've been pretty poor last 3 weeks now since Deeks left us, and we need the big effort tonight to put it right and get back on the winning path.
You're in control of that game for much of it, but when they scored just after half-time, did it get a little bit edgy out there before your crucial try?
I was on the sideline when they scored, and the thought coming in my head that we're going to have to dig deep again now, because, you know, most teams, when they get a sniff, they start coming back at you, but we lifted again and come home with a wet sail, to be honest. Like, another 3 more tries, and 4 was it, and made credit to the boys.
What will be the preparation now for the final? Because, again, you get another 2-week break. Is that good or bad?
I think it's good. Depending on how we pull up tonight, it'll be good. If there's no injuries, I'm sure a bit of hard training we'll fix that. But it's all up to the Dave and the coaching staff to see what we do in the preparation to the 2 weeks in the grand final, mate.
I'm sure you'll make good use of that champagne tonight, Ned. Now, £100 to the charity of your choice too, as well. Where will that go for us?
That's a Brennan Rooney fund, matey.
Lovely. Well done. Good on you, Ned.
Thank you very much.
Dave Clark is the Barrow coach. Dave, come on in and join us. Congratulating Ned there. Dave, it's no exaggeration to say this could be one of the biggest wins in the history of Barrow Rugby League Football Club, because it gives you the right, win or lose in that final, to make an application to play in Super League, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly right, mate. And, you know, that's a bonus you get, I suppose, of making the final. But, you know, we weren't thinking of that. We knew it was going to be a really tough, you know, game tonight. And Halifax brought everything to the game tonight. It was a tough all the way. And, you know, second half, we slipped away and got a few tries in. And it was a tussle all the way. It was a great battle, a great game of rugby league.
And you've done well in that second half, because you've lost one of your key players, Andy Ellis, halfway through when the game was still in the balance, and yet the other lads have stepped up to the plate there. Yeah, mate, you've got Coyle, you've got some players here with some ability, haven't you, that can rotate and move in different positions, and that's a key to some of us, you know, some of our personnel here. You know, it was great, mate. It's great for Barrow Rugby League, and Des, you know, everybody that's been a part of this year, to make 2 grand finals and win the competition. It's, you know, it's unbelievable. It's great for you too, because it's been a funny season, hasn't it? You started off as the coach, then Steve came in, Steve Deacon, and you were his assistant. He's left, and you've taken on the main role again. How difficult has it been for you to be like a yo-yo up and down there, Dave? Yeah, mate, you know, I stepped down because I thought I needed some more experience there. Steve Deacon came in, and he shared a lot of philosophies of his to me, and I thank him for that, you know, and he's made me a better person, a better coach, and I've learned a lot from Stephen. I would have liked to have been under his assistance, you know, assistant coach to him, but not to be, and yeah, I slipped in for the caretaker's role, and, you know, as any assistant coach would do, but, you know, it's been fantastic, you know, just to be a part of it, and it's great to lead this side now to the grand final. And just finally, Dave, you talked about learning there. How much have you learned and the players learned from the Blackpool experience against Widnes? And who knows, you might be playing them again in the final, of course. Yeah, mate, I mean, you think about the game we played there. You know, we had a lot of key players out as well, and you know, now we've got some more players in through the year, so it's fantastic, and, you know, hopefully we can take it. Well, you know, I think we're injury-free now, so, you know, hopefully we'll take a full squad there and really challenge that trophy now. Well done, Dave. Enjoy the night. Thanks, mate. Thank you very much.
So a night that started with some celebrations, ending on a high note as well. That's the League Leaders Trophy, which they collected before the game. Well, they're looking to add to that now. They're going to that grand final, October the 4th, the Halliwell Jones, Brett McDermott, very much a part of this Barrow Raiders club. Played in every position has Brett McDermott. And there is the chairman, Des Johnston, enjoying the moment. It's been a fraught season. He really has nailed his colours to the mast with this club. Not just his colours, quite a lot of his money as well, I think. And hoping that he'd get his reward for it. And he has done tonight, because they've gone to the grand final, 35 points to 12. Emphatic winners. Nixon with 2, Ballard, Katic and Braychek the try scores, and Rooney with an impeccable goal-kicking performance, 7 from 7, plus that curious drop goal very early in the play. But really, that was the way to get to a grand final, wasn't it? If you're going to do it, that is the way to do it.
Barrow's defence was absolutely outstanding, the way that they played, and they turned out. You've got to credit the forwards. They really did lay that platform. Jamie Rooney having a real big game. Halifax really had to start strong. Bezic goes into the collision, he's looking for the offload. Gleeson's aware of it there. Next thing, you see Ben Blackie pops up, he goes through the gap. He takes on the Barrow line, and it's Shad Royston who's in support. He tries everything, Shad Royston, in this game to get back into the game, but Ned Katic, Jamie Rooney gets the ball, he drops it back into Ned Katic, he just runs big, he runs strong, he goes over for that try. Again, look at this, James Coyle, he's come from nowhere to stop that try on Paul Smith, and that's what they were like. They've won this game on defence. James Nixon comes up with a fantastic break, a weaving run, speed to burn. He doesn't panic, he knows that there's no one in support who he can offload that ball to, but it's big Andy Braycheck. They can just throw the ball around. It's the second phase rugby. They turn the ball inside to Dave Allen, he offloads it to James Coyle, and again it's the push up in support. That's what's been very good for Barrow in this game. Then Katic break, he's aware, he picks that ball up, he transitioned from defence into attack, and again there's no panic whatsoever. He just waits for James Nixon, passes it to probably the fastest man on the pitch, and he goes in for the try. Well, again, this is probably consolation. Shad Royston hit a good line, but Barrow with a better side.
Oh, they were very much so, and a disappointing night for Halifax. When you think of the standards they set in this championship at the start of the season, they're a long way from that sort of form, aren't they? And it surely is going to be a struggle for them to recapture it now in time for this final eliminator, whether it's Widnes or Featherstone they meet.
Well, they've just got to pick themselves up now. That is as simple as that. They've got 80 more minutes. There's no second chances next week, Bill. They've got to come up with a performance against a tough Featherstone and a tough Widnes side. At the beginning of the year, Halifax were blowing teams away, but they've got to get into that arm wrestle, and next week they've got to put up with a top performance.
They will be at home for that tie against Widnes or Featherstone, and that's an interesting one to call as well, isn't it?
That's going to be a really tough game. Widnes having a real tough run out last week against Whitehaven. Sheffield really took the game to Featherstone, but Featherstone come out on top. They challenged the forwards of Sheffield, and it's going to be a brutal game tomorrow at the Stobart Stadium.
And to just that point that Rod touched on there with Dave Clark, I mean, this is a Barrow side that's been to a cup final already this season and got beaten. They were well beaten. I mean, they put up a very brave performance, but do you think that will help them, that experience?
It'll obviously give them some armour. You learn from your mistakes. What did you do wrong? What did you do right in the season? And Barrow finished top of the pile because they've been the best team this year. It's as simple as that. That's why they've won the league leaders title. They've played in the first semi-final. They've got over Halifax, probably the best attacking team in the competition, but defensively they were very strong, Barrow.
We're talking of Barrow, well, almost Barry. Let's go down to pitch side, because Barry's made his way down there through the army of Barrow Raiders supporters still celebrating this victory. And does this look like to you, Barry, a Raiders side that could go all the way and lift the grand final?
Absolutely, Bill. I was just having a word with Des Johnson there, who's absolutely thrilled to bits. The atmosphere around the ground is one of jubilation. They've worked so hard for what they've got, off and on the pitch, and this is a real club on the up.
Well, it certainly is. What about Halifax, though? They look like a club on the down at the moment. They really do look sad. They've got to pick themselves up. But coming up